Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. We have a little bit of short two. We're going to review the brand new Punisher today. The brand new. Okay, so the last Punisher was actually a brand new Punisher, like different guy in the uniform and all that kind of vaguely similar kind of thing, but very different, like a brand new Punisher. This is more the Punisher from before. The one who went and become a hand of God working for the Hand Clan, I think it is. Different logo, but still the same guy. And it's not the one who fought in Vietnam. That one's Garth Ennis' Punisher, which I think is is that the Punisher Max? It's Frank Castle. He's going to murder a bunch of bad guys, but he doesn't know who he is. That's like the big thing that's going to start us all off here. And it's a good start, I've got to be honest. It kind of gives the writers and creators a little bit of opportunity to set their stall quite clearly and simply. They don't have to worry too much about all the stuff that's happened before. It's just a case of, here's a guy, skull on his chest, white boots, white gloves, murdering a bunch of drug dealers, but he doesn't remember that he's murdered them. And this little beat is very much like on brand for him, like not remembering, but it gives a chance to show that he's absolutely unremitting in his violence. He will do anything necessary to do as many murders as possible, as long as he can justify it to himself. But then when we see the police turn up off New Macabre, he recognises, even though he doesn't know his own name, he recognises the sirens and the flashing lights as being law enforcement and chooses not to shoot to kill. Doesn't say he didn't shoot to wound, but he seems to mainly be dealing with the sirens and the lights, giving him a better chance to escape. He even makes point that he's not doing it really keeping them alive out of any nobility. It's more a case of he needs to stay alive so more people can die. Because again, he's found a way to justify murder as long as he possibly can. And that's a pretty good start to it. We also then get to see him interacting with other people in the world, not quite knowing who he is. And there's quite a nice reveal at the end, which I'm absolutely not going to spoil here, which gives a little bit more of an idea about why he might not remember who he is and why he's doing what he is. It also gets us introduced to, well, not introduced, but put into the story to heavyweight Marvel crime boss villains. Both operating in different manner at the moment, both doing interesting things. For instance, we have Tombstone doing what he's supposed to do. He is a big, intimidating crime boss. We are very much shown leaning heavily into how willing he is to do violence, even to people who might be on his side, if it means he can get an advantage over other people, or at least root out his enemies. It is a very, very dark version of Tombstone, and artistically, he looks amazing. Like, there's some really, really nice line work, some fantastic use of shadow, superb art for this character. No one is, unsurprisingly, Kingpin. I say unsurprisingly, I'm actually always a little bit surprised when the Kingpin turns to a Punisher thing, because it always feels like Frank could just go and do that one murder, and his life would probably be a little bit easier. Yes, there's power vacuums in play, and it's a comic book, and we have to understand the evergreen nature of storytelling for that to make sense, but it still always feels a little bit like pushing credulity if it's just like, hey, I'm going to go and do this murder, and this will actually deal with so many problems. I mean, maybe it's because he became mayor, and Frank still has issues with killing cops. I mean, I don't know, but there's always kind of a reason. But he also looks amazing. There's something about the sense of scale in the artistry of this story that I really, really like. So far, the three main characters I've been telling you about, Frank and Tombstone and Kingpin, are all done to a slightly different scale to everyone else. Not so much that they seem overtly out of place. It's not like the Hulk trying to get through the door of a 7-Eleven. It looks like they are just a version of humanity turned up to 11 or 12. And this adds something to their physical presence in the world, the nature of how intimidating they are, how they can get things done the way they want it to be done, without necessarily having to resort to violence, or at least not having to resort to violence all the time. Then when they do go that way, it shows an even darker side to them. Speaking of which, we do have a different take on, or at least a vaguely different take on Kingpin. He is still a bad guy, no denying that, but no longer being mayor of New York, because I think Luke Cage is currently mayor of New York. He's become a vigilante of some type. He is hunting down people who are doing bad things, and either murdering them or convincing them that murdering themselves would be the best course of action. Now, this strikes me as a very interesting dynamic for him to have. I don't know, I necessarily would say it's in keeping with how the character has been presented previously, but there is a mention made of something divine that is guiding him. That strikes me as a very, very interesting take, what with the overt Catholicism of one of his most famous antagonists, the man without fear, Daredevil. I feel like there's definitely something at play there which is going to be worth paying attention to. I will say in terms of artwork, it is fantastic throughout, but I was mildly disappointed because the cover artwork is slightly grainier, slightly grimmer looking. Inside, there's a very deep richness to the colour, which I like, but kind of detracts ever so slightly from the street level gritty violence that you kind of expect. And I will also say, the red band thing that Marvel does is an absolute scam, proven in this case because of the level of ultra violence, but they still do not actually have swear words in this comic book. Sort yourselves out, Marvel. We're all okay with it. We're all grown-ups. We know what's going on. That's it for me for now, though. Till I see you all again. Look after you, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!